Hello everyone, and welcome back. And today we're going to be discussing where I am with my book. Wow. So it's been a few weeks now. I finished the developmental editing for my book about 3 weeks ago. And currently I've been revising and editing this narrative of mine, the first book in the series for the Kokoro series. It's a lot. It's been a lot. The developmental editing, just like writing the prose, fleshing out the story as much as possible, and just writing the entire book has been completely finished. And I was looking at somewhere around 200,000 words at the moment. Between 200 and 200, between 200K and 230K. That's pretty much where I'm falling into, and it may be slightly longer. I don't know, because currently, right now, what I have been doing the last 3 weeks is just revising and editing. And the reason why it's taking so long, because again, it's been 3 weeks now. It's like, oh my goodness, you're not done revising and editing. It's like, well, first off, there's a lot to do. I mean, there just is. I mean, I have to go in and really read the whole book, and you're pretty much reading a whole book again. And it's just I'm going through, and it's a lot different than just reading a book. Because reading a book, you don't really need to go back and reread it. I'm going back and rereading, paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, checking out the dialogue, seeing what's cringy and what doesn't work, and that takes forever, no joke. But again, where I am, it's doing really, really well, and I would say I'm pretty much wrapping up with part one of my book. I'm spending pretty much all the time I can. I literally stopped reading all the other books I'm doing. I'd love to read some of the other books I'm doing, but I haven't had time to read some of the other books that is on my to be read. And most of my time has been focused on just writing Kokoro the Crimson Knight as much as possible, because I think I'm at a point where it's like I've been writing this for the last year. And the story's been with me for the last 3 to 4 years. But the last year this whole year I've been writing the same book, right? And it's like I'm not done yet. And there's just a lot to get done. I think I'm at a point where I'm kind of just like, nope, this is my main priority. When I get off, do this, right? But also, I'm working. I work a full-time job. I have other life priorities at the moment, so that's why it's taking me so long. So that's pretty much what's going on. Now, again, I am in the revising and editing stage of just going through my prose, checking the dialogue, checking out, the prose, the story structure, the character arcs, just checking over all of that. I did most of that during my developmental edits, but, I will say once I finished the book, I was like, yes, finally I am done. And I am just so grateful to be done. With the story, because it's like, again, it took forever because I kept going back, adding chapters then and there, and fixing things that didn't make sense, and still, I'm still adding some chapters that I think are needed. Sometimes I'll go in and I'm just like, yeah, this should be broken up into 2 chapters, because there was one chapter. It got to the point where it was like 35 pages long, and I'm like, yeah, no, we're gonna cut that short. I literally just had to cut it in half. I was trying to make it one full chapter. It just wasn't working. So let's move on to the next question then. So what happens next? So after I finish revising editing, how long are we looking at for revising editing? I would say we're probably looking till the end of December. That's pretty much what I'm going to just guess here on how long it's going to take me to edit this book. It's going to take me until probably the end of December, if not a little bit more, going into the end of January. And I think that's just because of how busy my life is. If I could spend every single day from the crack of dawn till the end of the day just focusing on writing my book and editing it, I think I'd be done a lot sooner, probably. But because I'm working full time, 8 to 10 hours a day, my hours have been cut down short just because we're entering the winter season and my job changes a little bit. But over the summer, it's like a 10 to 12 hour shift. But during wintertime, it cuts down to 8 hours. So that's nice. I can write more. But because I have work full time, it's going to take me a good amount of time to just really revise and edit. And also, I try to take breaks too, because I think I get burnt out sometimes. I've had a few burnouts because all I was doing was writing this book. And again, it's fun, but sometimes you need to take a break. I mean, recently, I literally just took a break and started reading Prisoner of Azkaban. It's the third Harry Potter book, and also The Way of Kings. I was just grinding those books. I just needed to get my mind off writing. And then I took a break and spent time, with friends and family and getting out more, having a fun Halloween. I hope you guys had a fun Halloween this past week. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what was going on. But now that I'm revising editing, once that is done, then it's going to be handed over to proofreaders. So I'm going to have a bunch of people proofread the book. Um, and then also get it edited at the same time. So pretty much I'm going to hand it to proofreaders because I don't want to edit it. I mean, I'm editing it myself. I'm going to probably read it a few times. That's also why it's going to probably take me another 2 months to edit the book because after I do finish revising editing, I'm going to want to read it 10 more times. And that's going to really kill me, I think, because reading your own book, it's like the more you read it, the more you feel like your book is horrible. And I think that's what I've had. I got to a point where I'm like, I'm so bored with my own story. Not that I don't enjoy it. Like, I enjoy the story. I love this book. But the problem is, since I just know it and I've spent so much time with it the past year, it's like you get to the point where it's like, ugh, this is boring. It's like I want to move on to the second book, because I've done it so many times. And then you start re-questioning yourself, like, maybe I just suck as an author. Maybe I'm just a horrible writer and I should not release this book. I've literally contemplated that, and I still am scared to release the book, I think, even though it's like this is a personal love letter to everyone. And what I love the most about fantasy. But I think I'm just at a point where it's like I'm also scared to release the book because I'm scared of criticisms, I think, because I mean, for all I know, the book could be praised. It could be the most beloved book out there. Or it could be one of those books where just people absolutely hate it and it just doesn't go well. I don't know. And especially if you have people who get the book, let's say your target audience is a certain group of people and another group of people gets the book first, and then they just review bomb it or they just bash it because that's something that happens on the internet all the time. I mean, that can very well happen. And I think it really sets in a negative review for other people who actually really like these types of stories. But now they're turned off by reading it because these other people who shouldn't have read it, and they hated it, right? So I think that's another thing. I mean, there's many things that go through my head. I mean, I'm still going to release the book, but I think that stuff does scare me into not releasing the book and just keeping it for myself, for my own pleasure. But yeah, I should say this. I have been having a really good time writing this story. And this is a book I can't wait to hold in my hands. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I can't wait to read my own book for myself. I think that's where I'm at. Obviously, I could just read it because I have it with me. But I really want to see my paperback version. I just want to be able to hold it in my hands and be like, smell it. Just be like, yes, I wrote that, But it is very terrifying. But after I have the people proofread the book, I'm going to go back and do major edits again and have my editors edit the book. And then from there, it's pretty much we're moving on to the art stage. So that's the third step. So the third step is to work with Viva, who is my artist. I know I've been kind of like, he keeps reaching out to me saying like, hey Mercer, when are we going to work on this project? When are we going to start doing the art? And I have to keep telling him like, hey man, I'm still editing. I have so much to do because as much as I think art is really cool for your book, that is not the reason why people come to read your book. And I think sometimes we forget that. Right, there's a lot of authors I see online here. A perfect example, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of, but like Audra Winters, right? I don't know her. I don't know that whole backstory. Pretty much all I know is apparently she wrote a book. She did some really great marketing, and I think there's a lot we can learn from her as like authors on how you should market your book because she did a phenomenal job marketing. I mean, she really knows how to market. And she did a really great job at that. And she has some really great art for her book. But unfortunately, from what I heard from other people, she released a book that didn't have a good story and the prose weren't well written. And there was a lot of I think grammatical errors within the narrative. And also just character arcs weren't working. It was very one-dimensional. So the book was really focused on the art. And again, it's cool to have art in your book, but we have to remember as authors, we're not here to create a picture book. We're here to tell a story, and we forget that all the time, I think. And sometimes we get too excited about having art. And again, I'm going to have art in my book, but not a lot. Not like the Audra Winters book where I think there's art pretty much every page. I'm not doing that. I'm more focused on my story. I have a really cool story that's just been with me for such a long time. I just want to share it with people and see what others think. And like, hey, is this a cool narrative? Maybe I'm the only one who thinks this book's cool. And that could be very well true. Majority of the people may just pick up my book and be like, yeah, this sucks. This book genuinely sucks. That may well happen. But, that's not going to stop me from releasing my book. I'll be my own biggest fan of my book, so which would be kind of depressing. But hey, who cares? But yeah, I don't want to run into that situation, so that's why it's like, hey, like she ran into the problem of not focusing on the prose. She was more excited about doing the art, and if we look at her, apparently what people are saying is that she's more of an artist. She loves drawing pictures of stories. She likes to tell a story through pictures. Okay, well, that's not the same as writing a book, right? Like, I love telling stories. That's what I like. Is it cool to have pictures? Yeah, that's cool. That's a bonus I'd like to have in my book. But that's not why I wrote this book. Again, I wrote this book because I have a really cool story. I wanted to share it with a bunch of other people, and I know as a book, it would just work so well. It'd be so good. So that's why I am writing it. But yes, I would like to have pictures in it. Again, that takes time, and pretty much after the book is pretty much completed and I know it's perfect, I'm going to go in and pretty much put down the pictures I would like for different chapters of the book, like what pictures I would like. I would like to have like unique black and white pictures, like 2x2 inch pictures for each chapter. And it's based on a significant moment in that chapter. It gives you something to look forward to, and then add a little bit other details. I'm still working on, I'll probably work with my artist Viva on it, but like adding the language, because I have a specific language for this world that I created that's unique and old and ancient. But and then we also have to do the map, right? I mean, I drew a whole map. I've showed millions of times to you guys. I mean, here, I can show you again. Here is the map. Like you can see right here. Here's the map. I mean, I can try to move it up closer. See, here is that map. You can see the map right there. And I have like multiple other maps that I've drawn. And, Viva, I've been explaining to him he's going to try to draw it to the best of his ability. And he's going to try to copy and paste what I drew, which will be helpful. Hopefully we can do that. But again, another thing is we have to also consider this costs a lot of money. And I think this is where we get into the next part of why it's taking me so long to release this book, is because of money. I think that's what's going to push it a little bit further. So I think we're looking at, in ETA wise, we're looking at, I'm thinking like fall of 2026 when this book may be released. I think ETA wise, because I also have other expenses. I have, I have family things I have to pay for. I have my own family, of course, and I have to take care of them. Right? And I have friends, and I'm part of a bunch of other stuff. So it's like this book thing, it's a fun hobby. Like this book I'm writing, I'm just doing it for fun. I'm not doing it to make money, if I'm being completely honest. I like telling stories, and sure, would it be cool if my book made money? Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be cool. I mean, it'd be really cool just to see the first person buy my book and be like, wow, hey, someone bought the book. That's awesome, right? But like, I care more about just telling a story. I just wanted to tell a story and share it, because I grew up, for your information, for anyone who doesn't know, I grew up playing with action figurines. I grew up playing video games, playing with toys, and reading other books. And I always just loved telling a story. And I think that's, as an adult, that carried with me, where I just want to tell a good story and give it to people and see what they think. That's it. So if it makes money, awesome. If it doesn't, oh well. But again, I'm not in it for the money. Like you see a lot of authors today where they're writing books to fit the audience, to fit the market out there, right? And that's what a lot of publishers are doing as well, which I'll probably do a video about. But like, I'm self-publishing, right? I'm writing the story I always wanted to read. This is the book I wanted to read. I haven't seen a book like this before, and that's why I am writing it. But because of the money situation, that's going to push it a lot, because again, I have other expenses I got to pay for. And so I'm going to try to keep saving so I can pay for these artworks, these illustrations that will help bring the book even more to life. Because again, pictures are they're icing on the cake, right? They're like the little cherry on the top. They add to the book, but they're not the cake. The cake is your prose, how you write, the character arcs, the characters, the story, the world. All of that is more important than your artwork. So that's why we're looking at like an ETA of 2026 in the fall time, if not winter, just because of how much goes into this, and I want to make sure everything's right, because I've never sold a book before. Again, this is just a fun hobby. This is something I like to do in my free time, and I created a massive world with crazy characters, heroes and villains, and the whole mythos, and I just want to share it. So that's why we're looking at 2026 for when I'm probably going to release it. And if we run into an issue, I'll let you guys know, and we'll have to push it to 2027 if need be. But if for some reason costs get too high, but yeah, but in the meantime, let's say I need the money and I just can't release this book without the money, or without the money yet because I don't have that money. I'm just gonna start working on the second book actually. So I'll just move on to the second book because again, this is a series. I'm just gonna continue writing, and writing, and when I'm able to release that first book, I'll release it. So that's pretty much what's going on. I mean, that is it. That's what's been going on in my life. I'm trying to post. I haven't posted on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram in about 2 to 3 weeks now. Again, the past 3 weeks have just been wild for me. I mean, from traveling to family to church to, writing and work. It's not that I don't want to post. It's just I just haven't found the time to post. It takes a while and it takes time. And, I hope I can post more in a little bit, but we will see about that. So again, that's it. I hope to do more book reviews. I have some other books I'd like to review. Again, I'm going to try to do a Way of Kings review and Prisoner of Azkaban review. Again, just haven't had the time. So hopefully I can do it this upcoming few weeks, but we'll see. Maybe over Thanksgiving break because I have like a week off for Thanksgiving, which is awesome. So that'll be my time to do more reviews, but we will see. So anyways, that's it. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe to follow along. You can go check out my TikTok, my Instagram, my Instagram threads. I got that as well. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.